Hey guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with all the 5-star books I read in the summer season. I do this every season where every 3 months I will come on here and chat about my 5-star reads. I do not have a lot. I will say, I don't know if I'm getting like harsher in my ratings. I had a lot of 4.5s, but like I just did not have a lot that hit, especially in August. I have one, and I'm gonna talk about 2 for August though, because one was a 4.5 that was really close to a 5, and like thinking on it, I'll probably move it to a 5, but I have 3 from June, 3 from July, and 2 from August to talk about. So I read a lot though. I read like 20 books a month, and I guess it's just not been that great of a summer when it came to reading. I do think that June was my best reading month of books that I loved, and then it kind of declined from there. So August wasn't bad. I just didn't have anything I was fully obsessed with. So we will go ahead and just get started on the books. I have 4 to talk about actually, because I have my one that I gave 4.5 stars that I would like to chat about because I enjoyed it. But the first one is one of my favorite books of the year so far. That's Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt. 2 of the books on here are second chances, and I love them. And this one is a second chance between a married couple, and I love that dynamic so much. They were actually high school sweethearts and got pregnant very young, and then they got divorced, and now it's years later, and their son is going off to college, so they decide to drive him to college together and see what happens. So it's very forced proximity. We have them having to share a hotel room and really talk about what went wrong. And what I love about this book and the next book that I'm going to talk about that's also second chance is that the heroes put in so much work into the relationship and themselves. They acknowledge what went wrong, and they were like, I need to change to be a better person to make this relationship work. I loved it so much. And he is a firefighter, and there's a scene in here where there are letters, and one of them doesn't know that they're writing to the other, but the other one does. And I love that trope. I know some people don't like it. I love it, and I wanted it to be longer in here, but I really love that little snippet we got of that, and seeing them fall back in love. So freaking good. And then the other second chance romance that I loved is The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. I know I'm very late to reading this. This came out a while ago, but I read the first book by this author, and it was just okay. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And so I didn't really rush to pick up her next one, but this book was so good. The hero, when I say he puts in the work, he puts in the work. He goes to therapy. He's trying to be a better person. He knows where he went wrong, and they have to be together at their best friend's wedding. They all met in school and share a best friend, and then they got together, and then they broke up, and then their best friend is getting married, and they are both like integral to the wedding, and so they have to be around each other so much, and they have to basically save this wedding because like everything is going wrong. So if you like a romance that revolves around a wedding, if you like forced proximity, they have to be together all the time. Lily just needed a potty, so now I don't remember where I was, but I really loved their dynamic and just swooned over watching them fall in love. And the hero, I love this so much. Even though we're going to the fall season, this was the perfect summer read, but you can read it any time of the year. If you love second chance, you have to read this. Then I have Ride the Sky by Ava Hunter. This was the last book of the series, and it was like the most anticipated couple. If you know authors, they like to leave the angstiest, I feel like, couple for the end, and so this one, you knew they had something going on, and they are both very troubled. They're both like the wild child of their family, and the heroine in this is actually a bull rider, and so she runs away from town and like leaves them all, and they don't know where she went. And the hero and her had been like hooking up, and they had been around each other a lot because they were both in the bull riding circuit, and he had actually promised her father he would not touch her, and then he does, and then she ends up leaving, and he doesn't know where she went. And so they end up trying to track her down and find out where she is, and then something happens and she has to recover, and he is there for her. And there's a trope in here that's a secret that I died over. I was obsessed. If you like a small town ranch setting with very damaged heroes, like all of these brothers are very damaged, but they all find love, and it's so good. And she definitely tests him and like pushes back at him. So if you like that dynamic, you would love this book. I loved it so much. I love this whole series, but this one was for sure a 5-star for me. And the last one of August August, that was more a 4.5 star, but I just love this author so much, and I would consider this a favorite of the month. That is Unloved by Peyton Corinne. I'm obsessed with everything Peyton Corinne writes. I read Unsteady. That was in my top 10 of the year when I read that one, and this one I loved as well. I will say I'm not super into college romances lately. When I started my channel, I started it back in 2015. I loved college romances. Like, that was my favorite genre. I ate it up, but now I really am not super loving college romances, but this one was an exception. She ends up being his tutor. He is actually a hockey player, and he does have a learning disability, so he's very not embarrassed by it, but he's definitely been made fun of because of it, so he's self-conscious of it. And these characters don't know how to let themselves be loved, and it's very, very frustrating. That's why it's called Unloved. Like, the hero feels like he's just bothering everybody, and the heroine is staying in a toxic relationship because she feels like that's the only person who will ever love her. And I just want to shake her and be like, leave that stupid boy. Like, he is so insecure, treats you so horribly, but obviously it's very easy to tell as like the outsider looking in, and it's harder when you're actually in that relationship to kind of realize what's happening and also know your self-worth, especially at her age. So she does learn, but it's really hard to read her being treated so horribly by this guy. But the hero and her become really good friends because she is actually his tutor, and she ends up being treated the way she should be treated by him, and then they all start falling for each other, and it's so good. But it's definitely frustrating watching these characters who you learn to love not know how to love themselves and let other people love them, and it's so hard, but so heart-wrenching, this book. I loved the hero so much, and I love the heroine. I love them both, and it was so good. So definitely read the series if you haven't yet. I love them. Okay, so July was more so a why choose month. So the first book that I read and loved was Shadowheart by Morgan B. Lee. This, I believe, is book 2 in the series. I've actually read 3 of the 4, which is so rare for me, but this is why choose, where the heroine has to attend this magical academy, and she is there for a specific reason, nefarious reasons, and ends up being bonded with 4 of the most like notorious guys on campus. We have one of the professors, we have a dragon shifter, and just very well-known guys, and all of them end up being her fated mate. And she's like, I'm not accepting you, because she has an ulterior motive of being there, and they are like, you're our mate, you will accept us. So they are overbearing and will not leave her alone, and then slowly unravel like who she actually is, why is she actually here. And this one did such a good job of developing her relationships with all of them, because she was very much, I don't want to be with you, I don't want anything to do with you, but obviously they start breaking down her walls, and I love their dynamic so much. So I love this series, and this one was my favorite so far out of the 3, and such a good book 2 to a series where we unraveled so much, because book 1 we had a lot of secrets, like we still didn't really know anything about her, but this one we do, and we like understand her motives, which I really enjoyed, and the guys are just awesome. I love them so much. Then I did read the new Catherine Cowles book, Chasing Shelter. This is a single dad romance, and I love when they are opposites, where the heroine in here was very much like sunshiny. She'll paint her bedroom like random colors, and she just goes all out for things, and the hero is very serious and stoic. He is a broody single dad, and they live next to each other, and he has his daughter who loves everything about the heroine, and I loved their relationship so much. And Trace, our hero, is in a family of a lot of people who are either adopted or fostered in their family. So this whole series is very found family, which I love, and they have a really fun sibling group chat where they poke fun at each other. And this one just really shows each other their self-worth too, because the heroine was in a really bad relationship, and she had a pretty toxic parents, but her brother had found love in the small town in the previous book, so that's why she's in town now, and their romance is so good. I loved it. If you love a broody single dad, you have to read this. And then the next Why Choose book that I read and loved was Eclipse Empire by Tessa Hale. I love Tessa Hale's Why Choose romances. This one are wolf shifters, and I've been super into shifters lately too. I just finished Samantha Young's new shifter romance, and this one is a fated mate, and she is actually on the run. She is half shifter, half like caster, I guess. Like, she has magic, she can do magic, and so has someone who literally wants to hunt her down and kill her, and she's hiding out in this small town, and she meets the 5 guys that are part of this pack of like mercenary wolves who own a gym, and this is their romance. And the heroines in all of Tessa Hale's books always go through a lot, and so the heroes have to try to help her, sometimes try to rescue her, and there's a lot of push and pull in these relationships. Like, some of the guys are like fully on board, some of them are like, I want nothing to do with you, and the dynamics in here were so good. A couple of them have to do a lot of groveling in the next book, which comes out in September, so I'm very excited for that. But I love this series so much. I love this author so much. I eat everything up that she writes, so love this one. She will always be one of my top Why Choose authors. Okay, I only have 2 left. How do I only have 2 left? Okay, I guess this is gonna be a short video because, yeah, I've already talked about 7 of the books. Yeah, so the next one's probably one of my favorites of the year. I absolutely am obsessed with this book, and it is the only fantasy on this list, like full-blown fantasy. It is not a Why Choose, and that is Blood and Steel by Helen Schwartz. I know people have been reading this book. I think this even came out in, like, did it come out 2023? This has been out for a while. Yes, it's been out for over 2 years, and I was obsessed. I read it in a day. I stayed up past my bedtime. If you know me, I'm a grandma. I'm very much a morning person. I cannot stay up late. I, without a doubt, fall asleep every single night when reading, and I stayed up until midnight reading this. That is way past my bedtime, and I was obsessed. This book has so much action in it. The heroine wants to be like a warrior, but in this world, there was a prophecy that a woman wielding a sword is going to be like the downfall of humanity, and so they outlaw women being able to even like hold a weapon, and so she secretly practices, and then she asks the king to allow her to fight and train, and they end up approving it, and the hero is one of the main 3 like big warriors of their kingdom. There are not a lot of them left, and he is really mad that she's being allowed to train because of reasons, and I love the little threads throughout this book of how things are related and connected. It is really cool, and she is training, and the guys are horrible to her, but she has 2 really close friends that really like bring her under their wing and like help protect her, and she helps protect them, and there's different trials they have to go through. There's literally battles in here, and the romance is everything. I love a trainee romance back to our Vampire Academy days. Like, I eat that up, and I loved this so much, and the ending was crazy. So I need to read book 2 as soon as possible. I will be reading it in September. It's on my TBR. I am obsessed. So obsessed with this book. You need to read it now. Going in a completely different direction, the last book of this video is actually The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I was shocked that I love this one. I don't know why I love cozy books, because I need plot in my books to like them, but the only exception to that is cozy. But I will say, this had a good plot. So I feel like a lot of people like to say that cozy fantasy or cozy romances are just kind of like vibes and there's not a lot to the plot. This had such a good plot, and I was shocked that it's even considered like a cozy fantasy. I think it's called a cozy fantasy because of like the tropes where it's like there's a like cute little talking tree guy, and she makes jam, and she's helping grow trees, and like those are cozy aspects. But like there's this whole like rebellion happening against the government who is trying to outlaw magic because they don't want people to be able to like have powers and do things. And so the heroine literally is escaping a burnt down library that she used to work for with these magical books, and she is performing magic in this small town, and then like things go down at the end, and like there is just so much to this story. But again, she's just making jam. She's running a jam shop that she's also using kind of as cover to help sell her spells that I forget what she calls them, like remedies or something, and they're to help the trees grow in their town. And she is having a romance with the boy next door who actually knew her from when she had lived there when she was little. So she lived in this town, her family moved away to the city, and now she's back, and her parents have passed, and the boy is like, I remember you. He is super golden retriever. It's so cute. He comes around all the time. They fall in love, and I loved everything about this. Like, now that I'm even talking about it, I think I want to give it 5 stars. I don't even remember why I gave it 4.5 stars. I listened to this entire audiobook pretty much in one day. It was so good. Book 2 didn't have as much of an engaging plot, which is why that one was more of a 4-star for me. And that romance was very much with like the grumpy hero, which I didn't love actually as much as this one, but I still think that they're both so good and very plant-based, I guess, like very cutesy cozy in that sense. I cannot wait to read more by this author. If you love cozy fantasy, please read this, and let me know your favorite cozy fantasies because I need to read more because I was obsessed. And it was a small list, but those are my favorite 5-star reads of the summer that I had read. None are really like summer romances. They're either really angsty romances or fantasy or why choose. So that was my summer reading. Let me know your favorite reads of the last 3 months. I would really love to hear it, and if you've read these, let me know. And if you've made it this far, leave me a butterfly in the comments down below if you've made it this far. And that is all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.